Cloud showers and thunderstorms today and tonight. High temperatures near 60 and the overnight temperature near 50. More showers and thunderstorms Saturday, maybe a severe thunderstorm, highs near 70 with gusty winds. Sunday, high pressure builds in, partly to mostly sunny in the mid-50s. We'll keep you updated. Your life, your music. We're KLEK 102.5 FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Donald Trump's former campaign chairman's received a nearly 4-year sentence for tax and bank fraud. Venezuela is into the second day of a major power outage. UK Prime Minister Theresa May is calling on the EU to make a choice and offer compromises to help her Brexit deal reach approval from British lawmakers. And Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban says his ruling Fidesz party may quit the largest bloc in the European Parliament.
It's 9:01.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Kobila Jones, and my very special guests today are Miss Alexis McIntyre, Mr. Cody Horton, and Mr. Lee Grogan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, and so these are students in the occupational therapy program at Arkansas State University, and today we're going to be talking about a lymphedema study that they're conducting, and this is very near and dear to me. March is Lymphedema Awareness Month, and so I hope that everyone out there listening and watching takes notes and take something away from this, and maybe be inspired on how you can educate yourself and others and advocate for those that you know and love. Before we get into our topic, our discussion, I want these individuals to please introduce themselves. I would say ladies first, but I'm right-handed, so we're just going to go around the table this way. No offense. Sorry, Miss Alexis.
That's okay.
So we'll start with Mr. Lee.
All right. Well, my name is Lee Grogan, and I am an occupational therapy student. We're all in our second year.
Okay.
And we are doing a study on lymphedema, and that is one of our capstone studies. And so we're just kind of interviewing participants and going around and trying to look at the themes that are linked between different participants in their occupational deprivations, which is pretty much the things that they want to do, need to do, or are expected to do, and that they're not being able to do.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the theme of our study. Do you want me to go into any more detail right now? Okay.
We'll definitely get into that. And so I don't want to give too much away right away.
All right, that sounds good.
Miss Alexis.
My name's Alexis McIntyre. As Lee mentioned, we're all second year OT students. Our process within this study has been very rewarding, very eye-opening, and not to give too much away, like you said, but we've been really enjoying and really gaining up a lot of experience and knowledge during this time spent together and interviewing.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Cody.
And I'm Cody Horton, and I'm working with these lovely people on this project. And this is something that, going into it, I feel like we didn't know a whole lot about, but we've learned a lot about it through this process, just the condition and the effects that it has on the individual. And really, we've grown really passionate about this throughout the process, and we're just looking forward to talking to you about it today.
All right. Well, my next question is two parts. One, what made you decide to get into occupational therapy? And two, what made you pick this particular topic? I'm happy that you did, but what pushed you or nudged you toward lymphedema? First, why did you get into the OT program?
Ladies first.
Okay, guys. Well, to totally flip roles, what made me decide to go into occupational therapy was I had a little nephew. He's now diagnosed with autism, but during the time of trying to decide fields and trying to decide what I wanted to do, we didn't have a specific diagnosis. He was just, we could tell, developmentally delayed. So just seeing how his OTs that he saw during the summer and after hours of school, how they attended to him and how they helped him really just opened my eyes to, I think I could see myself in a field that not only is rewarding for yourself, but rewarding for others.
Awesome. All right, Mr. Foley.
Okay, well, I got into this profession, really, I'm just passionate about helping people in any way that I can, especially medically. I remember whenever I first started thinking about getting into this program or the profession in general, I went and shadowed a guy at Health South, and I watched like what he did, you know, with his career and all the stuff that he got to do on a daily basis, and it really just made me have an appreciation for not only helping people, but being able to treat people and have like a really good understanding medically, and just being able to help someone that, you know, can't help themselves. So that was something that was really important to me.
And Mr. Lee?
I come from a coaching background, and I was an athlete. And so just growing up, you know, in that environment, I like the coaching aspect and just the aspect of being able to take somebody from not being able to do anything and then seeing them in a few years or in a few months and seeing the growth. And so for me, it was a little bit more of that aspect, and I originally wanted to do physical therapy. And then after shadowing, kind of like Cody said, I got my mind changed just because it's occupational therapy is it just fit me better, you know, just my coaching aspect and the way that I, you know, want to help build people up, you know.
Okay.
So.
And then what led you all to decide on lymphedema as your capstone project?
Me first again?
Yeah.
I worked at Health South as a therapy tech prior to getting into OT school, and you would see individuals come in with lymphedema, but it wasn't ever really the condition they were there to treat.
Okay.
When we were deciding for our capstones, we kind of had our professors are the one that presented the studies that they were working on to us. And so Dr. Amanda Moeller, who is our capstone mentor, is the one who introduced the lymphedema capstone to us. So we could rank them on a scale of 1 to 3, which one we wanted the most. And I just always knew of lymphedema, knew about sorta about lymphedema, but I never really understood what caused it, how it's treated, what are the symptoms. So I guess it was just the challenge to not only broaden my knowledge, but to learn about something new and learn about something that's very underestimated and very undertreated. So I kind of just took it as a challenge to not only better myself as a student, but to hopefully take it into the field.
Okay, awesome. Mr. Lee?
So Cody and I originally were doing a different capstone study. And that capstone study ended up, for lack of a better term, just kind of falling through. And so we got the choice, as Alexis did again, and so we got to go through and choose which ones. And after just kind of talking back and forth, we felt like we didn't know a lot about lymphedema. Everything else we kind of knew mostly about it, or at least somewhat, and we really didn't know much at all about lymphedema. And so kind of like Alexis said, we just kind of took it, or I thought we kind of took it as a challenge, just you know, not knowing what's it's about, wanting to broaden our horizons and just kind of see exactly, you know, what it was, and that's why we dove into it.
All right, so now let's get into the meat of the topic, the study that you all have put together, the questionnaire rather. And how many individuals have you interviewed so far?
So far, we have interviewed 5 individuals.
Okay.
We actually have our 6th interview set up and ready to go for next week.
All right.
But as of right now, 5 completed interviews.
What was your target, or do you still have a target before the end of your program? Before the study is due, do you have a target number that you wanted to reach?
Well, we're wanting to establish basically for this study a baseline for other people to continue our study. So we're probably not going to do many more interviews as far as with our part of the research project, but we are laying the groundwork for others in the previous classes to come, the future classes to come behind us and follow up on it. So,
and I really do hope they continue to study, keep the study alive and going, because lymphedema is one of those conditions/diseases that it affects millions of people across the globe. However, there's still not enough research done. There's not enough information available. I remember having a discussion with the technicians at Encompass now. There's not any doctors in Arkansas that specializes in it, and there's still that lack of information. So I hope that your study really helps to propel the discussion further, and more people will say, okay, let's take a deeper look into this and how we can treat the individuals dealing, I don't want to say suffering, living with this condition. All right, so let's get into some of the questions on the questionnaire, and tell us how you all developed these questions and why you felt they were important to ask. So whoever would like to go.
So our questionnaire is based on 13 questions.
Okay.
And with the question of our research capstone is, what are the occupational deprivations individuals living with lymphedema are faced with?
Okay.
So you just really had to stop and think and base OT around that. So with occupational therapy, we focus on, everyday activities. So how someone gets dressed, how someone takes a bath, how someone cooks, how someone walks from their garage to their car to their living room, how someone cleans in their home, their grooming activities. So you put a condition or a disease that someone lives with daily into that, and that's where you get occupational deprivation or occupational imbalance, because not only with the condition do you have swelling and your lymphatic system is backed up, but you have psychosocial emotions come into that. You feel guilt because of not being able to maybe be in roles that you feel like you should be able to participate in. So each question really just, like one is, when did you first notice swelling? That is wanting us to see where it started to when they finally decided to seek help or when they were finally provided help.
Okay. All right. And so, first off, what is the age range, the oldest to the youngest to the oldest that you have interviewed so far?
Let's see.
We didn't have any particular age range.
In the study itself, we weren't looking for a particular age range. We were just looking for, participants with lymphedema. And so
far I would say 30 to 80.
Yeah.
30 to 80.
30 to 80.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a big
it's a
big gap.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've heard a variety of answers to all the questions that vary, again, based on age and physical ability. With age, period, there's already some limitations in having a condition. On top of that, I'm sure it adds to the stress of it all.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about some of the answers that were consistent across the board, and then some answers that varied for the different questions. And you can give us, if you don't mind, reading some of the questions for us.
Yeah, I think with the first question, it was just describe your dressing and how it affects your dressing. And so I think a big thing that we've seen across the board is it does affect most everybody's dressing in some form or fashion. It depends, I guess, on what stage they're in.
Okay.
And that's the biggest thing we've seen. Someone who has caught it really early or who has really had the financial means to seek out medical help other places, they have been able to maintain it a little bit better. And so that's something that we were, really kind of starting to see. If they caught it early, then they were, like you said earlier, they were able to maintain it a little bit better in the long term. And so that doesn't affect their dressing as much, now as it did before when they were having a flare-up or something.
Something else that we've noticed as far as like their ability to dress and do other things around the house or in their daily life is which extremity, or if it's upper extremity, lower extremity, that's a huge determinant in their ability to do some of the things that we're talking about. So not only just how far it's progressed, but also which extremity it's in. That's something that we found to be something that can either, for that person, really be a debilitating factor, or they can overcome it. So,
and I can imagine those that are dealing with it in their upper body, if they have to put shoes and socks on, they're already dealing with the stress of swollen or sore or limited mobility in their arms, and then they have to bend and reach and do all those other things. So I can imagine that can be very frustrating for those individuals.
Oh yeah.
And the ones with it in their upper body, they say a lot that they typically don't use that arm, for a lot of things. And so it makes it even more difficult, because they're unable to use one of their limbs, for a lot of their activities.
Right.
So.
And with the individuals that you talked to, did they express that they were maybe doing some exercise or working with either OT or physical therapists already to try to overcome some of the debilitating aspects of the condition and how it affects their daily life?
That's been variable across a lot of the people that we've talked to. Something that we've noticed is a lot of people have different ways of managing and maintaining their condition, or just trying to overcome some of the things that they're going through, whether it be like a sleeve that they wear. That's very common that we've seen. Just some type of constrictive material to keep the lymph from flowing. Also, going to therapy. I mean, we've talked, some people have done a lot of things that I didn't even know about.
They were teaching us some things.
Just as far as like going to different professionals and stuff. Something else we've seen is a lot of people that are really vigilant in taking care of themselves. They've traveled to other states just to meet with other, doctors and professionals to learn more about the condition and how they can manage it. And then they come back here and they have to educate some of the people here. So
they have to advocate
that's something
for themselves.
that we found a lot.
And that just goes to show that we need doctors and medical professionals here that are certified and trained in this area, in this field, so that we don't have to travel. I can speak for myself. Thinking about traveling makes me anxious and not in a good way. Because you have to be mindful of, I have to pack all of these materials to take with me. Some people have to use a pump, which consists of these, I call them moon boots. Like, they're these oversized blood pressure cuff material, device that connects to a big pump that pumps air in and out. So traveling with equipment, supplies, that alone takes up room for your clothes and shoes and any other accessory. So traveling can be very stressful. So that's why we need people here in Arkansas to help those patients that are dealing with this. All right. And so what are some other questions that you asked and some of the responses you got?
7 and 8, question number 7 and 8, talk about your relationship with your family and your friends. And a couple of interviews, the questions really varied again on this because some of them, they haven't been able to travel to see their family, or they feel like their friends have kind of just left them because of their condition. And then a couple of the interviews, they say it doesn't affect their relationship at all because they don't talk about it. So, because they feel that their family and friends only see them for their lymphedema and don't see them for themselves. So, they feel as if they don't want to talk about their condition because they feel pitied, I guess, in a way. That might not have been the best word, but sort of. So
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
7 and 8 has been a really interesting topic of
Yeah.
the interview questions.
All right. And did you run into individuals that were reluctant to open up? Like they just gave you straight line answers, and then you know, I know when you met with me, I just gave it all to you. Like, what else you want to know? But,
Yes, your interview was great.
Yes.
but did you run into those that were you could tell that they were finding it hard to even talk about it, even though you were expressing genuine concern and care for them, and you wanted to know their story? Were they still reluctant to open up?
Yeah, we definitely had that for some individuals, maybe more so than others.
Yeah.
But some of the individuals, actually most of them, I would say, at the very beginning, just in the initial parts of the interview, they were reluctant to open up. And after the first few questions, they started opening up more and talking about it more. But initially, I guess maybe just they didn't know how the interview was going to go or something or another. I don't know. Maybe they just weren't quite comfortable with us yet.
Like,
But,
these are young people.
Yeah.
And I think it could be one of those things where they're used to talking to people that don't know a lot about their
Yes.
condition. So once they realize that we kind of understand a little bit about, the condition, its implications, and what they're going through, I think they're more willing to open up and talk to us and let us know a little bit about what's going on in their day-to-day life.
And teach us.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
teach us.
I have
Yes.
no idea
Yeah.
how much that means to talk to someone who doesn't give you the deer in headlights look at the blank stare and the what are you talking about, or people who don't know what to. It's okay to not know what to say, but at the same time, it can be a little. Yeah, it gets frustrating. I keep saying frustrating. That's the word for the day. Frustrating. But all right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go through some more questions and talk about some of your findings, and then what's next after you complete your study. So you're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Men, are you ready to take your son on an adventure? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. Helen Keller once said, "Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all." We all want adventure. We want to explore, create, discover. A great way to start an adventure is to create a bucket list with your son. Figure out what the two of you are passionate about, and then pursue those dreams. To help you, I've created a generic bucket list for fathers and sons. First, learn how to fly fish, and then go do it together. Second, go camping for the weekend. Third, start playing tennis together. Remember, your family first.
For more resources on today's topic, go to markmerrill.com.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
Family Minute is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
House of Details, located at 3915 East Highland in Jonesboro, is a proud supporter of KLEK, offering detailing on any type of vehicle: basic wash, hand wash, shampoo, interior cleaning, waxing, buffering, headlight restoration, pickup, delivery, and more, with a motto of anything mean we can clean. Details at 870-273-5187. House of Details on Facebook and at klekfm.org.
Edgy Studios, 209 Union Street in Jonesboro, offers photography for portraits, weddings, and engagements, senior portraits, family and maternity shoots, and all occasions. Edgy Studios focuses on photography that is unique and outside of the norm. Owner Andrew Daly is available at 870-243-0308 or www.ejjistudios.com.
Hello, I'm Officer Victoria Evans. I have always had a desire to help others in need and to be an example and role model to young women by encouraging them to never give up on their dreams. My dream was to become a police officer and to serve my community. In 2016, that dream became a reality, and it is the most rewarding experience of my life. Now I want to let you know about the same opportunity. The Jonesboro Police Department will conduct testing every month for patrol officers. Applications are available online at jonesboropolice.com or at the Police Department, 1001 South Caraway Road. The Jonesboro Police Department offers a competitive salary, health, and retirement benefits, top-of-the-line training, and most importantly, the chance to make a difference in the Jonesboro community. Join me in making Jonesboro a better place. The Jonesboro Police Department is an equal opportunity employer, and women and minorities are especially encouraged to apply. More information is available at 870-935-5657.
Experience the joy with Bishop Adrian R. Rogers, pastor of Fullness of Joy Church, 2120 Thorn Street, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72401. Wednesday night, Word and Worship, 7 p.m. Prayer Thursday night at 7 p.m. Sunday School, 9:30 a.m. Sunday morning worship, 11 o'clock a.m. And our Sunday night live service at 7 p.m.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Quabila Jones. My special guests today are Miss Alexis McIntyre, Mr. Cody Horton, and Mr. Lee Grogan. Thank you all for joining us today. They are students from the Occupational Therapy Program at Arkansas State University. What's up? All right, so we're going to continue our conversation on lymphedema and the study that they are conducting. And we're going to just keep rolling and go through some more questions and discuss some of the answers that you received on those questions. So go right ahead.
Well, questions 3 and 4 on our interview questions are, how does lymphedema affect your abilities to participate in hobbies and also participate?
Okay, I'm sorry. Start over. I didn't turn the mic on.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
So 2 of our interview questions that we use are, how does lymphedema affect your ability to participate in hobbies and also participate in community activities? We found a lot of different answers on these 2 questions, depending also, on severity and how far the condition has progressed. But we would say that definitely on the hobbies, there has been a big decrease in their ability to participate in things that they like to do, or just identifying new things that they enjoy that, maybe it's more stationary or involves less physical exertion. And then community events, it really just depends on their ability to walk or, carry things, anything physically, like I said, physically exerting, has had an effect on them in one way or another. So that's something that we found.
So for those that were in the younger age bracket, I know I, again, open up to you about my situations, but for those that were kind of my age bracket, what were some things that they expressed concerning just going out and about, just getting out of the house and trying to maneuver through the community? Did they have to carry less stuff, be mindful and plan ahead? Like, what were some of the things they said?
Social stigma was brought up a lot. So that is just where, you see someone in public that doesn't look like you, or you see someone in public that maybe has a brace on their leg, like, you're going to look, that's just human instinct, but just feeling as if they're being judged or stared down. A lot of that came into how they felt about going out in the community, and just a lot of inaccessibility, like not being able to drive or be able to find the bus stop because it's so far away, or shelving, being able to take their wheelchair down the aisle, to shop in the grocery store. So a lot of things that I personally didn't expect to hear really has affected their ability to participate in the community.
And then as you all are listening to these answers and thinking about the program that you're in, did it get your wheels turning on how you can better serve your patients that you will be working with, or even some of the ones you work with now in your internship and other activities? Did it help you open up and expand your mindset? Okay, how can I really serve my patients best?
Yeah, I think so. I think kind of to caveat off what Alexis said, it's we kind of sometimes don't realize that environmental barriers, so like driving a car or even the bus systems, things like that affect people in a really big way. It affects their lives more than we think most times, and so I think just little things like that has opened our eyes more to just things that we're going to need to do whenever we get out, even in, like you said, in our level 3s or our internships or our just in our careers, things that we're going to have to think about, for a person's entire life, just to treat them, holistically. So.
And one thing that I hope that society gets out of the study, once you put your findings together and do your final presentation, is that individuals with this condition, one, do not want or need sympathy. They need assistance. They need compassion. And I can speak for myself personally. It's a little nerve-wracking, again, like you said, going out in public and people see one side of you or one aspect of you versus getting to know the real you. And so you're in this constant emotional, physical tug of war, social, psychosocial tug of war with, okay, do I want to go? Do I want to put myself out there? Do I want to be present in my life? Or do I just want to hide away and say, just forget it? So there's that constant battle going on. And so I can only imagine as the individuals get older, I don't know the individuals, but I know some that I met in a group that I go to, and we all have different, but sadly same experiences in our life.
Mm-hmm. And I think it varies too, on what stage of life they're in, and how much assistance they have from their social support, their family support. We saw a lot of different and heard a lot of different stories in our interviews, just on people who have more assistance, they're able to do more. Who don't have assistance, they don't, they just, which is kind of, they were not happy with, but they're just unable to do it.
Did you interview any married couples or someone that's married?
Oh, we did.
Yes.
We did.
And did they express how it has or has it affected their marriage and their intimacy or their overall relationship with their spouse? Without getting too deep or too,
what we've noticed among a lot of the married couples that we have interviewed is just they feel like a burden on their spouse more because they feel like, their spouse is doing more caretaking than they are actually serving the role of, a spouse or something like that. So really just a lot of guilt and feeling like, more or less like you're someone's patient than you are their spouse, and that's been something that's been really sad to us as we've gone along in this process. Is just
or even the term roommate has been used.
Yeah, the term roommate's been used, and so that's been something we've noticed.
Yeah,
and that's when I lost my composure in the interview, and she said, and that question, that's number 6 on our interview list. It's how does it affect your roles you participate in daily? And roles are a wife, a mother, a husband, a grandmother, a grandfather. And that question has really sparked a lot of emotion in their interview process. And like Lee and Cody said, it's been eye-opening, I feel like, to all 3 of us to really see how life can be taken for granted so easily. by us who, don't have to go through a condition or a disease daily. And then when you put that into your life, it's just unreal how some of these individuals are able to go about their day. But I really look up to them, and I really envy them for their ability just to continue to keep going.
Their perseverance is really good.
Yes, very strong.
Yeah,
and
very
that's
strong.
That's something also that, if you're a general person, you probably wouldn't understand that a condition like this can affect all of these areas that we're discussing right now, like mother, father, wife. But it does, and that's something as OTs that we focus heavily on, is not only how does it affect you physically, but mentally and in your day-to-day life. How can we help you in that type of thing?
And we've seen a lot of change. I'm sorry.
No.
We've seen a lot of change in that, depending on what, like I said, situation the person's in. Like if they're a grandmother, they feel like they, most of the times feel like that they can still interact, somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're in a mother role, it's a lot more difficult. If they're in more of a primary caretaker position, it's a harder situation to be in,
especially when they have younger children at home. Yeah.
Okay. So did any of the individuals you interviewed have primary care of, say, someone that's still in high school or younger?
Yes.
We did have,
yes, there was one.
Okay. And then was the child present at the time, or
at the time of the interview, or no.
Okay. All right. And did they express maybe conversations they've had with their children, and maybe what the child has said, or how the child now, I guess, how they're adjusting to their parents' condition?
This part of the interview was very emotional. She just had to apologize to her daughter that she was sorry, she didn't mean for it to be like this, and she didn't know it would be like this, but she can't help it, and she needs her to help her. So it's kind of like the roles are reversed. So like the daughter is having to be the mother, and the mother's having to be the daughter, but then extreme guilt was a huge theme in that interview. She felt super guilty because she's not able to help her daughter get dressed, or help her daughter pick out her outfits, or go wake her daughter up. She has to wake her up by, kind of projecting her voice from the room to her room, and
or being present at social events or sporting events or different things like that was
yes.
That was another thing that was difficult for that participant.
In what age range, without, we don't want to give away anybody's personal information, but what age range is the child in? Like elementary, junior high, high school?
It was junior high.
Junior high. And I can imagine me, knowing as a girl, and I'm sure Alexis can attest to this, in junior high, you're coming out of that little kid stage, but you're not quite a big kid. So you're just kind of in this middle ground, and you're like, trying to figure out who you are, who your social clique is, and navigate school, home, society. So I can imagine it's a lot of pressure on this young person, dealing with now having a parent who is very dependent upon them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right, so what are some of the other questions? We can go through almost all the survey.
I would say a question that has sparked a lot of differing answers would be, how has lymphedema changed your outlook on life?
Okay.
Something that we've found throughout this whole process is people are very adaptive to their situation, and they're mainly optimistic about the future. So that's a positive. And I think that really they're hopeful that they can find some type of treatment or meet an individual that can really help them along in their process. And in the meantime, they're just doing everything they can to live life to the fullest and do the best they can do. So, like I said, that's been an answer that's been very variable, across all of the interviews that we've done. But for the most part, I would say everyone has a very optimistic view, and it's been inspiring, honestly. Just people, that are in conditions that are pretty hard to overcome, but they're still optimistic and they're working if they can, or attending community events, and they're not letting anything hold them back. But of course there's hardships with that.
Okay. What would you say has been the biggest impact what has been the biggest impact this study has had on you individually? As you leave each of these interviews and you're kind of processing everything that they told you, and you're like, oh, okay, and so what impact has it had on you as an individual?
I think for me, it's just making certain that I don't take life for granted, I think, or the life that I have right now for granted. I think, like Alexis said earlier, it's really easy to take things in your life that you can do, like going out and getting into your car and driving somewhere, or a road trip or whatever, things like that, just take them for granted, or even daily things, super simple things that we think is simple. For an individual with lymphedema, it's a lot harder to do, and I think that's just something that I've taken from it. It's, kind of opened my eyes that really quickly, and for some of the individuals, it's like who have the primary lymphedema, they really don't know where it came from, and so it's kind of, it's just eye-opening that really quickly, in someone's life, it could just completely, your life can flip, and so it's been eye-opening, but also it's been a humbling experience too.
I would say for me, you can watch a documentary on this, you can watch a video, you can learn a million different things in a book, but until you actually talk to somebody with a condition like this and you see how it affects their daily life, and you see the raw emotions that it brings whenever you just talk about it, and then they kind of show you some examples of things that are hard for them to do or they can't do anymore, I think you get a really great appreciation for what they're actually going through and how it actually impacts their life. So I think that really just this study in general, we've learned so much as far as physically how it can affect you, through literature and things like that, but something that we haven't found is there's a big gap in literature between the physical effects and the medical side of it, and then your day-to-day life. So really just gaining an appreciation and an understanding of their day-to-day life, I think, has been the biggest takeaway for all of us. So.
And just to tie into both of them, they've took the words right out of my mouth. It's really impacted me in the way that I want to dive in more. I want to dive in deeper. I don't want to just stop at this study. I want to go on. There's a huge need. There's a huge need for advocacy, a huge need for self-management. And for me personally, that's just something that this study has impacted me to have a huge interest in.
Okay. Well, I am looking forward definitely to seeing what you all do in your careers. I do want to ask this question. This may be kind of far-fetched. As you're learning more about this, have you ever considered, in your class or downtime, making your body, strapping something, taping something heavy to you, or adjusting your body so that you can have a more realistic view? Just take a bag of flour, I don't know, sugar, and tape it to your arm and leg, and just kind of.
Well, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. In class, since we're OT students, we do stuff like this, and we'll, go into class and not know anything's going to happen, and then surprise, you're assuming a disability today. So we do get an understanding of that, and then we'll have to go out in the community and try to do things with said disability, with that assumed disability. So to answer your question, yes.
Do you feel that it is very humbling and eye-opening?
Absolutely.
On how you're received and how you are able to maneuver.
And the people who look at us as we're going by, it's interesting, because sometimes they'll, want us to put our shirt over whatever the disability is, if possible. If it's sometimes a textbook strapped to our arm, we can't. But
Yeah.
But, it's interesting seeing people's reactions as well. So I can definitely, it's been eye-opening.
And during these experiments or these exercises, have people actually approach you and ask you questions?
We had, yes, we had a community mobility assignment, and we had to assume a visual deficit and a physical deficit.
Okay.
So, and we were in pairs of partners. So our partner at the time didn't have anything like a deficit wrong, and then one person had to, and we had to take community transportation. So either the jet bus, a cab. You couldn't Uber, you couldn't drive, or you could walk if it was in walking distance. And when we first got on the bus, me and my partner, the guy actually really thought that I had the disability that I had. And so, like, the jet bus system, I'm not sure if anybody knows how that works. If you have a disability, you pay a decreased amount. So we only had to pay the 38 cents to go from ASU to Walmart. But then he noticed when he picked us back up, the roles flipped. And he kind of got a little aggravated at us.
Yeah. So you had to come clean that you're doing an experiment.
Yes.
Okay.
He understood, though.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But we were like, why did he only make us pay 38 cents? And we were like, oh, he gave us the discount. He thought there was something really wrong with me.
Yeah, Cody and I, whenever we did it, we missed the bus the first time.
They left us.
They left us. Yeah, they just they saw us standing there, but just left us because I'm assuming he had picked y'all up earlier. And I don't know.
I'm on to this. So
yeah.
I didn't even stop. Just kept going.
And, this hopefully will help also open up discussions with the city officials. You all can take the results of your study and your findings and say, okay, here's what is needed in the community for the residents that live here.
Right.
We're going to put a pause again right there. We'll take another quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up our discussion and we'll talk about what's next after the study, after graduation. What's next? All right, you're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Here are 3 things every teen needs to learn about money. First, teach the value of saving while you are young. If an 18-year-old puts $3,000 into a retirement account today and it earned an average interest rate of 8%, she will have more than $100,000 in that account when she turns 65. Second, teach them to value earned money via part-time employment, entrepreneurship, and investing over loans or gifts. If the only time you ever talk about money is when they're asking you for some, that is a problem. Finally, teach teens the rewards of delayed gratification. Let them know that it's far better to save for what they want instead of taking on credit card debt just to get it right away. Of course, it helps if you're teaching by example. When it comes to teens and money, do as I say, not as I do, just won't cut it. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization focused on joy in our sisterhood, power in our voice, and service in our hearts. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Money Matters is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Cruise with KLEK September 5th through the 9th, 2019. Enjoy a 4-day getaway from New Orleans across the Caribbean in Cozumel, Mexico with your fellow KLEK supporters. Partake of sandy white beaches, diving, fishing, swimming, scuba diving, exotic marine life, dancing, dining, live entertainment, and more. The KLEK Cruise September 5th through the 9th is your summer 2019 vacation getaway. The cruise will leave New Orleans, Louisiana on September the 5th, 2019 at 4 p.m. and return to New Orleans on September the 9th. There will be several activities planned for the cruise, which more details will be released soon. But you can't wait to the last minute. You must act now. Just a $25 deposit will reserve your spot on the cruise. For more information or to reserve your spot, call KLEK at 870-203-9951 or visit our website at www.klekfm.org. This event is a KLEK fundraiser.
The new deadline to sign up is March 9th.
KLEK thanks CJ Pepper and the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
This portion of KLEK programming can be made possible by your business. Your support will help in educating, entertaining, and empowering the community by supporting local talent, serving the community you love, and providing information on issues you care about from a different perspective. Call 870-203-9951 or visit klekfm.org to learn how we can help connect you more with the community, or visit us at 1411 Franklin Street. KLEK 102.5 Jonesboro, educating, entertaining, and empowering the community.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm speaking with Miss Alexis McIntyre, Mr. Cody Horton, and Mr. Lee Grogan from Arkansas State University. They are students in the OT, Occupational Therapy Department, and we have been having a really wonderful conversation about the study that they're conducting concerning lymphedema and how it affects the individuals right here in this community. But I do want to ask, have you interviewed anyone outside of Jonesboro?
Yes.
Okay. So basically in the Northeast Arkansas area. Yes. And again, as we discussed on and off air, there's a lack of literature, lack of information available to individuals, and not just the patients, but a lack of information to the healthcare providers. And so we would love to see an increase in that, and hopefully with your study, we can get that ball rolling.
That's the goal.
Yeah. All right. And so once you get done with your study, you graduate and you move into your careers, what's next? What do you see happening?
Ladies first again.
Well, prior to graduation, we go out on level 3 field work. And a level 3 is non-traditional, so that can be like program, implement, advocacy, anything along the lines of something like that, other than what a traditional OT does, working in a setting, providing interventions. So for my level 3, I am actually going to develop an 8-week lymphedema clinic. And within that clinic, it's going to be based on what's out there already, like what education's out there, what resources are out there, what self-management is out there, what interventions are out there. But I am not going to stop there. I'm going to expand on it. So I'm going to take what's out there, and each week I'm going to educate or implement or demonstrate something different. So diet or exercise, manual lymph drainage, showing individuals with lymphedema what community resources that they have in their area. And then after that, I'm going to develop a lymphedema self-manual.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm going to actually go out to different healthcare and advocate for lymphedema. So I can't wait to step on some toes or maybe open some eyes, but I'm all for it.
Yes, ma'am. It's high time that lymphedema is added to the discussion. And, you know, it's just as prevalent as breast cancer, as ovarian cancer, as prostate, as diabetes, and anything else out there that people are dealing with. Lymphedema is just as prevalent. It's just not discussed as often. And oftentimes doctor underdiagnose, misdiagnose, and by the time they do recognize it, sadly, the patient is at the point of almost no return. They're already probably in stages 2, 3, and beyond. And now, instead of reversing the effects, they are treating the symptoms and just managing the symptoms that they're dealing with and trying to carve out some type of normalcy in their life. And no one should have to live like that.
I agree.
And so hopefully with your study and the information that you all will present, people will become more and more aware, and individuals who may not have it, that may be at risk of getting it, can then become more self-aware and say, okay, let me pay more attention to my body. This is a discussion I have often with nurses, that individuals, especially those in the Black community, we do not pay enough attention to our body. We don't go to the doctor until it's like point of no return, on our deathbed, and that needs to change, you know. And then individuals in lower socioeconomic status areas of the community, they also deal with things of that nature. So look, I'll be a cheerleader, I'll be a mouthpiece, whatever you need me to do to help you all push your study forward, push information out there in the community. I am here to help you.
Yeah,
Yes,
and like we said, we're really wanting to establish groundwork for other, you know, people in our other cohorts to come behind us, and we're going to advocate and try to educate them on the importance of continuing this. And we want this to be a long-term thing where, you know, we study this for, or not only us, but after we're done, more classes are coming behind us and studying this and picking up more things that we didn't even know or hear about, getting to communicate with others. So,
and stay on top of the NYT college.
Yep.
Hopefully they work close with you. I'm going to try to stay on top of them as well, because we would love to see more doctors specialized in this field. Since we have a medical school right here, why not have our own homegrown doctor?
Right.
All right, so we have about 2 minutes left. Any final, words, any shout outs? This is giving you the platform. You got 2 minutes, 3 people, go.
I don't know.
Hey, if any of our OT people are listening,
right.
Yes.
shout out to y'all.
That's right.
Team OT.
Yep.
I want to shout out, and the only person I really know personally is Dr. Christine.
Yes.
I want to say hello to her. Dr. Hanrahan is over the nursing department. She's chair dean. Dr. Hanrahan.
She's the dean.
The dean, okay. And then everyone out there at Arkansas State University. So thank you all.
Yeah, and shout out to Dr. Moeller. She's our mentor
yes,
through this
we
whole
couldn't
thing.
make it.
She's great.
Yeah, she's been phenomenal.
She has a lot of knowledge about lymphedema, and she's been very helpful as far as facilitating us in this study, giving us encouraging words, providing us literature. I mean, you name it, she does it. So
that's awesome.
Thanks to her.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, huge thanks to her.
And I can't thank you all enough for joining me today and sharing this. It really warms my heart. The first day that you all came to that meeting, right before Thanksgiving, you all came to then Health South, now Encompass. I was like, sign me up. Anything that I can do to help, spread the word and share information. It's high time that people open up and stop being embarrassed or living with the shame and guilt of having this condition. We deserve to be here, just like anybody.
And we thank you for helping us. You know, you were our first person that we really got to meet and talk to, and you were very helpful and, you know,
calming our nerves.
Yeah,
it was nerve-wracking.
yeah,
it was nerve-wracking.
And making us feel like there is like a lot of people that we can talk to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And giving us this platform today to speak about it, it's been great. So we appreciate you.
And you were a wonderful first interview for us.
Yes, you got the ball rolling for everybody else.
All right. Well, we have only a few seconds, but have you developed more questions after
from our interview?
Thank you for
We
listening
don't
to
really
Community
have,
Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Oh, it's fine.
A program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council.